Hi everybody. I just wanted to make this video today to talk about the concept of using plants, particularly native plants, as infrastructure. Infrastructure is a set of systems put into place by humans to help our society function and work in an efficient way. And I'm here to talk about why native plants can be a really big part of that. The first thing I'll kind of talk about is a little bit about water infrastructure. Native plants can be really beneficial for water infrastructure in a variety of ways. A simple example of this would be just a rain garden, a backyard rain garden. So there's a problem, there's water pooling up in a specific area. We don't want that because it could damage the foundation of the house, it could leak into the basement, etc., etc. You just don't want water pooling up in your yard. So rain gardens are a fantastic solution and can be looked at as infrastructure because we're putting the plants into place for a specific purpose and it's solving a problem. Another water-related infrastructure problem that native plants can solve or help with is erosion control. So if there's a bank or a river bank or, a lakeside or something like that that's having issues with erosion, native plants with their complex root systems, particularly plants like native grasses have really great root systems that can hold things into place. Shrubs like red osier dogwood, those naturally grow along riversides and places like that. So those are really good options on erosion control, and that can really make a big difference too. This isn't about infrastructure, but this is just a little intermission to look at how pretty the sky looks right now. Holy crap. I know I already mentioned erosion, but related to that would be slope stabilization. So if there's an area in your yard that has a kind of a hill, a slope, that is losing dirt due to erosion, native plants can be really beneficial in that too. Like I said, it locks in the dirt with the root systems and keeps it in place. We had a client last year who his neighbor's house was on a hill, so there's a pretty steep slope coming down the side of his house, basically right towards his pool. So that was causing issues when it rained. Muddy water would wash into the pool and, it was eroding and everything. So we wanted that to be stabilized. So we put in a bunch of blue stems, Joe Pye weed, a bunch of things with dense root systems. We put in those red osier dogwoods that I talked about, and those are really fantastic, like I said, for stabilizing slopes. Another example would be planting trees for infrastructure purposes. So this has a variety of benefits. One of them being that neighborhoods that have older growth trees generally have higher house values too associated with that. So that would be an important thing just based on house value alone. Another thing trees are really important with on an infrastructure level would be cooling. So they obviously provide vast amounts of shade, and when they're planted in parking lots and in neighborhoods, over streets and sidewalks, they provide great shade. The concrete's not just absorbing heat all day, so it prevents the heat island or the heat battery effect, as Joey from Crime Pays But Botany doesn't explains very eloquently. But yeah, so it prevents those issues. So if you're in a parking lot and it's 1,000,000 degrees out and you have a tree planted over your car, it's going to be a lot cooler. The last one I'll mention is food infrastructure. So here in Southern Ontario, we are really lucky to have just a huge variety of native fruits, native herbs, stuff like that. So on a food security level, on a food infrastructure level, that can be really beneficial if we plant things like local service berries. Blueberries are another thing that are native here. Cranberries, things like that. It's really fantastic because, like I said, we have just such an amazing variety here. So if we just plant a couple, serviceberry trees in our yard or blueberry bushes or things like that, that can provide, a decent amount of food for us, and it definitely increases our food security when we're not shipping things across like huge distances back and forth. So that would be another really good benefit. There are many more examples of this, but I wanted to keep this video brief and short. So there you go. I'll leave it there. And yeah, I appreciate everybody watching this. And if you have any other um, examples of plants as infrastructure, please leave a comment below. I'd be very happy to read them.